Hi everyone, Julie Powell here. Today I am going to have a quick run through on Evoto, which is an AI software program for portrait photographers. Now, I know there's a lot of AI stuff happening at the moment with Photoshop and Radiant and Luminar and all these other ones. This is another one that's come on, but predominantly this one is just for portraits. So I've had a quick little play, but there is some really cool features that I did like in it. So you can just simply create a project from scratch and import photos. That's all pretty simple. This is just the little welcome board. I'm just going to get out of it. So I did start two projects, one of which is just a trial program, and I just grabbed some random photos and dragged in. Now you come over, you've got your about, you can manage your account and change languages. You've got undo, redo, copy, paste, delete, things like that. You can select or deselect all, and I'm assuming it's talking about photos. The view, you can zoom in, zoom out, or you can do that down here as well. It's also got a star rating, so that's interesting. Windows, so you can close the window, minimize, etc. And then there's help. Now there's that beginner's guide which come up at the start, which is kind of handy. Now if you go looking at your home, this is basically where all your projects will be. So think of it like your folders, your within a catalog, etc. So it doesn't actually have catalogs and things like that like Lightroom, just has separate projects, and that's fine. So if you just want to get in, get out, edit something, get it done and get out of there, this might be for you. So over here on the left you have some different recommended presets. Go through, try them. There's a lot for different, like headshots, maternity, child, etc. I really like the high-end one. I thought that was really nice what it did without going over the top. You can also choose between male, female, kid, senior, and you've got a lot of different sliders that you can play with here if you wish to, or if you want to keep it really simple and just use these presets, you can do that too. So things like forehead wrinkle reduce, eye wrinkle reduce, dark circles, smile, neck wrinkles, double chin. You've got skin retouching, skin smoothing, body skin smoothing. You can fix up ruddy complexions, underlying skin tones. You can actually change or modify the skin tone, the temperature. There's face reshaping, eyebrows, eyes, nose, everything in there. You can make the face smaller, lower, face width, so everything is there. So there's an awful lot that you can play with if you wish to, or you can just stick with the presets if that's what you want to do. If you want to play around with the adjustments here, you can. I have found if you start lower and then come back up, everything that you did seems to disappear until you come back down and then it reappears again. So it hasn't lost everything. It's just if you start, you need to basically start at the top and work your way down. So you can set your, there's more filters here that you can use. You can go through and play with them all. Your histogram is there. You can change your white balance, exposure, contrast, highlight, shadow, everything else that you would expect. There's also curves in here. You've also got your HSL in here, so that's your hue, saturation, and luminance. There's detail, and you've got noise reduction, color noise reduction. There's a lot in here if you want to play with it. So it gives you pretty much everything that you would have in Lightroom or Capture One or Lumina. But if you just want to use the AI features, then you can perhaps skip that. So you can come over to working on your skin, your face, and all the rest of it. I really loved the high end and what it did to that. So that gave me a really nice look, beautiful skin tones without going over the top. Now it does have this Evoto banner on it, which is only on the photos that have been edited. So if I go to the before and after, you will see that's the before, there's no logo there, and if I click that back on, the logo's back on. So it is kind of handy to know what's before and what's after if you're making really subtle changes. That does disappear when you export. Now the other thing that I think is really cool, and I'm just going to go and find another photo here. This is one. I'm just going to reset that. So just your little reset here and go back to the raw photo. So I'm just going to go into my presets, and I'm going to, so that's your little presets there, I'm going to go to that high end one again. But what I really want to do is this clean solid backdrop, and this is fabulous. So if I turn that on, and it will automatically clean up my backdrop, which is not brilliant. So if I zoom in, ignore my model in her socks. If I go to the original photo, and there's creases in my paper backdrop and some dirty scuff marks, so that clean solid backdrop does a beautiful job of fixing all of that. So all I have to do then is come in and crop it to remove what I don't. Now I could also come in and I can replace the backdrop, so I can go and make it completely transparent. I could put another backdrop behind her, and you can play around. You can put your own backdrop in there, so you can import an image and you can put that in there if you wish to. So you can play around with that. There is also sky adjustment. So it says there's no sky detected, so it's not working in these photos. But I love what it does to my images. So if I go back to there, and it puts me back to here. All I can do then is come in here, and there's a crop. I'm just going to do a simple 5x7 crop just to get rid of all the extra bits. Hit apply, and then just export my image out. Now I can choose where I want to export it to. It doesn't look like it gives me much in the way of the basic settings. If I go over to advanced settings, I can then decide what color, what quality, how big, and if I want to convert to sRGB and so forth. So that's in there. You can also put a watermark on your image, so you can put your own watermark on there, not necessarily their watermark. And there is a little video I saw somewhere on how to do that. I haven't got to that yet. So I'm just going to cancel out of that for the moment. I'm just going to show you another image. So I'm just going to come in here. What I'm going to do is go back up to the top. I think that needs to be brightened up a touch. So I'm going to bring my exposure up, go into presets, go into that high end preset. Should have done that, then brought mine up. then go into, I'm happy with the face, so I just want to go in and I want to clean this backdrop up again. So I'm going to go and turn the backdrop on again. And it got rid of that blue tape, which was the model's mark or the dancer's mark, and some of the floor. You can also bring up the background enhancement tool if you wish to. So it is really cool how that works. There's lots of different things that you can play around with on here, but if you just want to keep it super simple, it is fabulous for cleaning the backdrop. Now, unfortunately, if you have got something like the backdrop that I've got here, it says that the feature doesn't work on non-solid backdrops. So because this is just messy canvas, it is not actually going to do anything to it. So that's a little bit of a disappointment. But if you use a cyclorama like I've got here, or if you're using white paper rolls, then it is fabulous to change your backdrop. Now I don't know if I've put in, there was another one that I had here that I was playing with. So again, I don't like the glowing. I think it is too soft. I really like that high-end retouching. And I'm just going to boost the exposure a little bit. I just wanted to play around with, see if it would work with the bath water. But again, it doesn't really like that terribly much. I'm even going to try natural on that. So that's where we're at with this. It's a great little product if you just want quick and easy edits that still look pretty good. It doesn't seem to have anything for coming in and removing things. Like if I wanted to extend that, I would still have to take that into Photoshop and extend the water, or I could come in and I could crop it. If your crop comes up horizontal, you can click that to change it over and just drag it to where you want it and click apply. Yeah, it doesn't seem to have a you know, anything for removing blemishes or anything like that. It does have this body blemish tool, which will get rid of various moles and things like that. If you've got oily faces, this is new apparently because it says new there. That's one way to get rid of it. So if you've got dark circles under the eyes or eye wrinkles and you want to reduce those, this is really cool at doing all of that. So even though I really like the app, I thought it was quick and easy to use. It's a little confusing with the pricing. It has a bit of a random pricing structure, and I've read this and seen this on a couple of other reviews. So you can sign up and do a free trial and you get 5 free credits, and that gives you 5 exported photos, so you can play with them, but your credit doesn't get used until you actually export the photo apparently. So once you've done that, so that gives you 5 photos to play with, and that's fine. You can use it on Mac or Windows or whatever. But when you come over to the buying an actual professional version of it, here's where it gets a little weird. So you can either pay monthly or you can pay yearly, and that's fine. And it's $83.88 a year. I'm assuming that is probably all US dollars. And you think, hey, 83 bucks or 84 bucks is pretty good for a year, but that gives you credit for 1,200 exported photos. I don't know about you, but I do a lot more than 1,200 photos a year. So if I was to jump down here and let's just say 9,000 photos a year, that jumps up to $515.88, which is insane. If you say you're a wedding photographer and you were doing 20,000 photos a year, that jumps up to just under $1,200 a year. So, I mean, it is super expensive doing it that way. If you are only doing, so switch over to monthly, if you were doing, you know, $2,000, 2,000 credits or photos a month, that's $118 a month. So it's really expensive working it that way. If you don't do a lot and you're only doing, say, 100 photos a month or whatever, then $8 a month isn't bad when you compare it to other programs. But if you start getting above that, then it gets really expensive. So even though I really like the product, I'm not sure about the pricing structure. I think this is something that they probably need to look at moving forward.